Greetings. In this screencast, we're going to talk about how to use this $17 USB port solar panel, which weighs 88 grams, to charge your devices, and how to improve it a little bit by making a slight modification. So here we go. The first thing you're going to do is use some alcohol to pry off the plastic cover that's like hot glued on, and that will just make that glue not stick anymore, and then you can scrape it off a little bit. After that, you'll see this motherboard, which is what the solar panel connects to, and it's going to take that DC power and structure it in a way that it can flow out to a USB port in a safe and effective manner. So what we want to do is cover this motherboard with a product that is gonna waterproof it but not cause shorts. And so we need an insulator, and the best insulator I can think of is liquid electric tape. After we do that, we'll use some JB Weld to epoxy the plastic cover back over the motherboard so it doesn't come off super easily like the previous glue, which is like basically hot glue, a silicone sort of thing, would. So we've cleaned off our old glue, and now we're going to apply some liquid electric tape to this board. And I'm just scraping off a little bit of the old glue and trying to make sure that there's not any of that alcohol left on this panel, because I don't want it to mess with the liquid electric tape. And so I'm starting by applying the tape to these two contacts on the back side of the motherboard, which is where it's soldered to this panel. And that's the area that is very important that it's pretty well insulated so that there's not a short there. And so I'm just kind of dabbing this on a little bit at a time, not rushing, just making it a little happy motherboard. And then take my little paintbrush, add a little more liquid electric tape, and I'm just gently applying it over the electrical components that are on this board. We'll use the power of editing to speed this process up, so this video is not too long, but take your time with this process. Be nice and thorough with your liquid electric tape. Now that we have the motherboard insulated with liquid electric tape, so it's much more water resistant than it was previously, as water will just hit that insulator and not pass through it and not short out the board, we're going to apply about a dime size amount of JB Weld to a piece of cardboard, and using our gloves we're going to mix that together so that the black and white become perfectly gray. And this is my favorite epoxy. It'll hold 5,200 pounds, I want to say, per square inch. It's really, really strong. So we can take this plastic cover and just start applying the epoxy to the outside edge of it, where it's going to come in contact with the back of the panel. So we really don't need to glue it to the motherboard, we just need to glue it to the back of the panel. And you could probably use the quick dry stuff if you're in a hurry, but it's not quite as strong. It would still be strong enough for this application though. And by using the cardboard, I can just scrape it on. Note I'm also using gloves. You don't want to get this stuff on your hands, and you should wear safety glasses as well. Be really careful with this epoxy. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to get a small flat file, and we're going to just scrape some grooves into the plastic coating on the back of this panel. And those grooves are going to create a space for that epoxy to stick and hold on to the back of the panel. Once that's done, I'm going to use a little shop rag to clean off the plastic pieces that were scraped away, and that way we have a nice clean surface to apply the black plastic covering that now has epoxy on it. Now for the moment of truth. We're going to take this back cover, which has the epoxy on it, and gently place it over the motherboard, which has liquid electric tape on it. And once that is done, you just snug that little piece into place. You don't need to slide it like I did here, but it's my first time doing this, so take it for what it's worth. Once that's done, you can use some painter's tape to tape over the area you have epoxy on, and then we're going to use a little clamp to add some pressure to help this glue stick even better. So we're just making sure that we have this cover perfectly placed before we do that. And now we do. So once that's in place, I can kind of just use my gloves to smooth out the epoxy so that we have a smooth surface on the edge of the plastic cover and no like sharpness or bumps in the way. Alrighty, now we'll use some painter's tape to tape over this part of the panel, front and back, that has epoxy on it. The backside doesn't have epoxy because that's where the solar cells are. However, we do want it to work for us. Then we're just going to use a glove to pad the solar panel surface from the clamp. Don't want it to get any damage on that side. And on the side with the top, the clamp goes on just as you see, and we let this sit overnight. We're a little out of sequence here, but what can I say? It's like Friday afternoon, and I'm just trying to crank this edit out. Anyway, this is what it looks like to put some ethanol on the back of the panel to delaminate the glue, and then pull off the back cover. So once it's poured on, you can just tilt the panel to get just that little bit of ethanol in contact with the glue, where you can gently scrape it off with a flat head screwdriver or your fingernails. Alright, we've let this thing dry for about 24 hours, and now we are going to take a look at the glue surface by removing the clamp and the tape and seeing what we see. And we can feel a couple sharp edges where the epoxy dried. So we'll just file those down so they're nice and smooth. And we'll test our plug-in port, female to male, fits great. And now we are ready to get this panel in the sun and charge. So this is an app on my Android phone which shows charging status, battery capacity, battery level, voltage, current, health, and temperature. So we have the solar panel plugged in to the phone, and we're recording its screen while we're using this app. And I walk outside and I point the solar panel directly at the sun, and we can see the voltage is at about 4.3 volts, just a little less than that. And our current goes from a negative draw of almost 1,000 mA to, in our basic screen, we can see here -400, -800, -390, and we'll go ahead and we'll click back into the advanced here. There we go. -500, 600. So basically the longer, it takes a little bit of time, but the longer we just steadily hold this panel directly at the sun, the more we can see the negative current values get reduced. And here they're go to positive for the first time. So positive 134 milliamps. So that means we're just charging this phone slightly more than it's draining, which is pretty cool. It just shows that it is possible to charge this phone with just this panel in this one test. Now, my workflow is to plug this charger or this panel into a battery brick, 10,000 mAh capacity, and let it charge during the day and then charge off that. That way these fluctuations in current don't affect my cell phone battery. They can affect the $16 power brick I'm using. So one last thing to see, now that we can clearly see that this panel does work, I'm walking inside now, we're going to unplug the panel and plug in a about a 20 watt power, and you can see right away the current is almost 500 milliamp, and then it goes to 726, and then we're done. So that's the difference between the wall charger and the panel. So we'll do another weight here. And we're just going to use this donation request envelope to write down our measurements. So we have 88 grams for the panel. I'm not going to weigh this cable, but it's about a 12-inch cable, and the shorter they are, the typically the lighter they are. And I will say that this organization is really good in terms of the work it does, in my opinion. And I think they deserve donations, so I like giving them money, and hopefully you will too. Keep fighting the good fight for women's rights. Okay, so here's our power bank, and this bank has a weight of 271 grams and a capacity of 13,400 mAh. So we'll weigh a few more of these because we want to see what our lightest power bank we have that we could use to charge with this panel, and see how much lighter that is than a heavier power bank. Because the idea is, if you can just charge a power bank every day while you're hiking that doesn't weigh very much, with a panel you can save weight from carrying a heavier power bank that you have to recharge from a place with grid electricity. So this one weighs 238 grams, and it has 10,000 milliamp hours of capacity, and so it's the PowerCore. Next we have another Anker power supply, and this one, our power brick, weighs 352 grams. I don't remember its name. It's a few years old, and we're going to have to guess at its power capacity, which I think is about 20,000 mAh. So now that we get the routine, we'll speed this up a little bit and weigh our next one. And this is a very big power brick, coming in at close to a kilo, 602 grams, with a 30 watt output at three 10 watt ports. So it will output quite a bit of power, and it holds a lot of power. So this brick's wattage per gram is actually, or capacity per an mAh per gram is pretty high. But when we compare it to our lightest and smallest power brick plus the weight of the panel, we get 326. So this combination, which in theory can perpetually generate power in sunny areas on our planet, we're at nearly a 300 gram savings over our heavy power brick, which would probably only last about a week to 10 days charging a cell phone and a GoPro daily. In any case, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around.